Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time joining me, thank you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope that what you receive from me, from whatever comes through me, is going to serve you in a positive way to ultimately help and build you up so that you can experience more of who you truly are, or more of your potential. And that is my intention for what I do, and that is one of the greatest joys in life, is to be able to have the experience of allowing myself to channel information for the betterment of myself and those who choose to hear it. When I say betterment, it is not to say that there is something wrong or that we are somehow not right, but it's to enhance the probabilities of what could be in terms of experiencing our own human potential. So if you're drawn to this energy because it is frequency that I am channeling, then chances are you are aligned with this whole idea of self-love, self-acceptance, experiencing your life as a whole person versus someone who is at conflict with him or herself. And chances are you are somehow familiar with this idea of moving beyond the 3D consciousness and more into 4D and 5D. At least that is what mainstream calls this process of ascension. If you like what you hear, I would love for you to click the subscribe button. It helps to spread this information. At the end of the day, I truly believe, and I believe I'm not alone in this belief, that the more people understand their true power, the more people can realize more of their potential, the ultimately happier and better place will be the place we call in planet Earth, or the place we call planet Earth. And we are with energetic exchange with planet Earth all the time. We don't necessarily think of it that way. We don't necessarily think of Mother Earth as a living being, a conscious living being. Although if you are drawn to this kind of material, this kind of content, then I am pretty sure that at least some part of you, probably a bigger part of you, begins to, or is at least beginning to understand the concept of planet Earth being a living, breathing, conscious being. And because it is so, it is energetic. We are energetic. Everything in the universe is basically energetic. So we are in constant exchange of energy between ourselves and planet Earth. And because planet Earth is undergoing tremendous changes right now, we as the beings that are inhabiting planet Earth are going to experience or be influenced or affected by this change. And I'm being shown the vision of a shake-up, when something is shaken. When the earth shakes, as an example, it affects you and I because we are on planet Earth. So what I'm trying to say is that the changes that planet Earth is going through will affect us, but also who we are and what we do and our level of consciousness that we embody affects planet Earth. We are effectively and essentially in relationship with planet Earth. We are in relationship with everything. With the person you don't like, with the person you love, with your pet, with your work, most importantly, with yourself. And if your own relationship with yourself is not one of peaceful exchange, then you and I and us as humans will experience relatively less levels of peace. And planet Earth is moving essentially to a higher vibration, and with that comes more peace. The higher we vibrate, the less we are in exchange with lower frequencies, which are denser, fear, things like that are lower frequencies. I'm sure you are aware of this already. So what I'm trying to say is that I hope that this information helps you essentially embody more peace. And if you can share this information with somebody else, the more individuals on planet Earth can embody and experience more peace, the more we will be living in a peaceful state. And we will exchange this peace with planet Earth. Okay? Always remember that we are in exchange of energies all the time. We may not think about it this way. We certainly don't have this as our conscious awareness for the most part. But we are in energetic exchanges all the time. We all hold certain belief systems. We are in relationship with our belief systems. We are in relationships with our belief systems. And the more we relate to ourselves as someone who says or believes, I can't be more, be this or that, the more that exchange is going to affect you as a human being. So any relationship that we have with denser energies, fear-based frequencies, those lower energies will absolutely affect us as human beings. Okay? And what I'm being asked to say is that planet Earth is in a process of forming new energetic relationships. I'm not going to try to logically dismantle this. I just want to say it and trust that however it is meant to be received will be received by you. So that's my rather longish introduction. If you are new, I would love for you to help me grow this channel, because I believe that what I am allowing to come through me is of important nature. And at the end of the day, if we can all embody our ultimate truth, our higher truth, that we are powerful beings. And I don't mean the ego type of powerful. I mean innately powerful beings. The more we embody that, the more of us that can truly vibe in that vibration, the more we realize that pretty much anything is possible, even within the constraints of having a physical human body, which in and of itself has its own limitations, right? It's essentially how to be an unlimited human being while living somewhat of a limited existence, okay? And I believe that there is a vast improvement we can make in that department. For those of you who are returning, wow, now 9 minutes, geez, I did not expect that. There's probably some messages for some of you that you can get something out of. Anyway, for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. This feels like it's going to be another transmission that feels different. Not quite sure how to describe it other than it feels energetically different to me. It's not good or bad. It's just, it feels more powerful, feels more substantial. I believe I said that last week. So this is the second video that I am recording in 2023. And I don't know about you, but the last, I'd say week and a half, certainly the last week, has been interesting to say the least. I know we are still in Mercury retrograde, and whenever we are in retrograde, many things are affected. Communication, certainly technology, and I have experienced a fair share of that, both work-wise and personally. But more than that, I have been experiencing a lot of frustration, not really having a reason as to why. I mean, yes, the communication piece, but I kind of just make peace with that. But there seems to be, at least for me personally, and I believe that if I'm feeling it, some of you are affected by it as well, there's a certain levels of frustration just bubbling up to the surface. And we have just entered a very important or prominent year, as they're saying, prominent year. What do I mean by that? Let's say 10, 20 years from now, you will look at year 2023 and somehow it'll feel highlighted, it'll be highlighted. So there is certainly something highlighted big transpiring in year 2023. And I talked about this in the general 2023 predictions, which there's a link below, or it's in my channel, on my channel. And I have certainly talked about this with the individual predictions that I did for 2023. So for those of you who have already purchased, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all those amazing comments. I never know how a message is going to be received, obviously, but to see the level of, what's the word I want to use? Validation that's coming from you, it really helps me. It helps me to trust what I receive, which is actually one of the components I want to talk about. Trust is a big thing. So if you've purchased the 2023 predictions, thank you so much. If you haven't yet, there is a link down below. You can get, for a very limited time, up to 88% off. I basically want everyone who chooses to have this information to have these tools to work with in year 2023. It's been over 2 years since I have done predictions for zodiac signs, for each zodiac sign. I just moved away from expressing myself that way, but I was very much guided just to, for whatever reason, focus on those and give each and every one of you, in terms of individual zodiac signs, kind of a heads up of what's going on. And these are the deepest general readings I've ever done. I don't even like to use the word readings. I just have an aversion to that. But the 2023 forecast predictions for each individual signs are deepest than I have ever done as a general reading. So much so that for those of you who have reported back to me, they feel absolutely personal, as if I'm talking to you one-on-one. So if you can't work with me but would like to, and I have a lot of you connecting with me saying that you would like to work with me personally or one-on-one, but you can't, and of course not everyone can, not everyone is supposed to. You can use these messages for 2023 in order to help you navigate with what's going on. And my what I was shown in each and every sign, without exception, some extraordinarily powerful transformative energies. So we all have work to do, of course, if we are willing, and the purpose of those messages is to give us the tools, the understanding, a peace of mind with what's going on, what could we expect, and how we can work with what is going to take place. And ultimately, whatever we are faced with is met with the possibility of growth. So whatever happens for you in 2023, and I'm saying the word for you, not to you, is all to do with, essentially, with your own growth, okay? So it's a very potent year. It's a very powerful year. One that I feel, energetically speaking, we're going to be in some powerful exchanges with some powerful energies, which also has a lot to do with receiving. So long story short, get yourself the 2023 individual predictions, if you're inclined to, of course. Sometimes your guides will hide messages in different signs. So my aim is always to guide you towards helping you trust your own intuition. Because at the end of the day, your higher power, your higher self, your higher consciousness, that part of you that goes beyond the human conditioning, knows. Your higher self knows you and knows your strengths and knows your abilities and knows your capabilities, and it guides you all the time. So listen to what your intuition says. If you are a certain sign but you are drawn to another sign, then chances are there's a reason why you are drawn to that. So that's why I made all 12 signs pretty much for the price of 2 individual signs. So anyway, the other thing I want to say about those messages, and what makes it so different, is that although it's going to sound kind of strange, it did to me at first, my words are embedded with certain frequency, which is something you cannot see, something you cannot logically understand necessarily, something that will ultimately even bypass your critical thinking, but an energetic frequency that goes straight into your energetic body. And according to what my team says, what that essentially means is that when I channel and give you information, there's a certain frequency that goes with it. It's a healing frequency, and it'll land in your energetic body for the purpose of enhancing your own abilities to deal with whatever is going on in the world. And that's what I'm being asked to say. And I have heard quite a few people saying that they can feel certain vibrations going through their bodies as they're listening to these messages. So again, I don't want to overtalk, but this is why I'm bringing this up. Because I have been feeling kind of very uncomfortable. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel so uncomfortable. A whole bunch of things are coming up. It's like, what is going on? And I decided to listen to my sign. I'm a Taurus, for those of you who don't know. And when I was recording Taurus, there were certain things that made sense because they're happening, but certain things just didn't make sense. I mean, I don't know what hasn't happened yet. And I decided to listen to my sign and my rising sign and my moon sign. And this is what I did. Oh my God. It is literally exactly what was channeled to me about 2 months ago that I'm experiencing right now. And I literally said, okay, the universe wastes no time. A lot of old stuff is coming up. We are still in a retrograde. As a matter of fact, I remember one of the messages was that, for Taurus at least, that we are going to be experiencing a lot of scorpionic energy, which is all about transformation and repressed emotions, repressed beliefs, things like that, repressed feelings. And I'm not an astrologer, so when they said scorpionic energies, I went and researched. It's like, okay, well, that's what's supposed to happen. And literally, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. So in a roundabout way, the universe is validating what it's been speaking through me, which is, again, important for me. Why? And this is going to, I believe, connect with everybody. Because there's this little thing called trust. And if we don't trust the process, if we don't trust what we receive from our intuition, we're likely are not going to use that information. Now, that information, at least in my experience, is always very useful, always very useful. The problem is more often than not, I don't trust it. It's not that I don't trust it. I don't trust myself. And therefore, I am going to limit myself in terms what I receive. And since I am a human being, and human beings essentially experience all the same things except in different packages, what I say about me likely connects with you too. Perhaps you don't trust the process of what's going on right now because you feel like you are walking around with blinders on your eyes and you're trying to feel it out, or the only way to navigate through this world where you can't see very much is through feeling or through intuition. Okay? So if you have been feeling irritated, drab, interesting word, unfulfilled, oddly discontent, if you have not been feeling like yourself, this is why. It's the energies that we are going through. Okay, and we are on a collective level going through what is called an unraveling. So think of the idea of unraveling. Okay, something is being revealed, and in order for I'm getting chills. And in order for something to be revealed means it has been hidden to some extent. And whatever it has been hidden under or behind first has to crumble in order for that something to be revealed. So all the things that you might be experiencing, the discomfort, the rigidity, whatever it feels that feels like it's just not that's my explanation. I don't have words for it. It's just it's because we are in a process of unraveling, and in order for something powerful to be revealed, things have to crumble down. Okay? This is what you're going through. This is what I'm going through. And as a result of this, many things are being revealed to me, things from the past. So chances are you too are likely experiencing certain things coming to the surface. Things like victim mentality. Oh, I'm very much there right now. Oh, boy. And I want to say it because I want to be honest about the process of what we're going through, because this process is not a bed of roses. And I'm not going to speak for others, but at least for myself, my job is to help you understand yourself. It's not to give you flashy predictions. It's not to give you, promises. It's to help you understand how freaking powerful you are. And in order to help you get that, in order to help you see this power, sometimes we have to address some of the things that don't feel very good. It's just part of the process. So some of my messages may feel heavy-ish, but it's not that they're heavy because they're bad, but they're meant to bring out the stuff we usually run away from. Stuff that is uncomfortable, stuff that I don't have time to deal with that, I'll deal with it later. Well, the later is now. So if you're feeling a lot of angst, if you're feeling a lot of discomfort with yourself, if you're feeling a lot of discontentment, if you're feeling like, what is going on with me? You are in the process of unraveling. You are in a process of revealing something amazingly powerful to yourself. What is that? In essence, it's your essence. It's who you are. It's who you are underneath all this conditioning you call yourself as. For me, it's Joanna. And some of the things that are coming up for me, and again, I always want to be very honest. I always want to be very transparent. I feel that the more authentic and real I am with you, which makes me very vulnerable, and that is hard. The more I can share honestly my challenges with you, the more I can tell you, this is what's going on with me. This is what I feel is happening. This is why. This is what I'm being told. This is what they're saying. What's happening. The more I can share that with you, the more I can give you of myself. And that hopefully will help you in your life. Because essentially we're all the same. We're all embodying what's called a human condition. We all feel lack, we all feel love, we all feel hate, we all feel discomfort, we all feel comfort. We all feel that, just in different packages and in different ways, but we all feel it. We're all part of the human condition. And being a human, as you might have already guessed, is not always very comfortable. There's quite a bit of discomfort that goes with being a human. As a matter of fact, I'll share with you something that just popped up for me literally the other day. As I'm listening to a lot of near-death experience videos. By the way, when I feel at odds, where I feel like, that's my explanation. The more I listen to near-death experiences, the more it makes me feel soothed. I believe it's just kind of reminding me, okay, we're just here for a while. We're experiencing this duality. We're experiencing this discomfort. But it's an illusion. It's not who we really are. And every time I listen to a near-death experience, it's like it brings me back home. So anyway, I'm listening to someone having a near-death experience. And then I had a memory popped up. And here's the memory. I'm going to share this with you. It was about 2004, 2005, when I was taking a hypnotherapy program. I remember at one time, during class, my teacher, my mentor, wanted to wanted to show a certain skill, a certain technique to the class. So I volunteered, and I was the test subject, if you will. And during that process, I don't remember exactly which technique he was using, but during that process, I spontaneously went back to before I became a human body. And it was a very interesting experience because the first thing I noticed was that I was about to enter this tunnel, and it was dark. And I remember having these feelings, and the words with that went something along the lines of, oh shit, I know what is there. I am not looking forward to it. I was remembering having these thoughts and knowing that what I am about to go through, I wasn't digging it. But since I'm here, I've made the commitment, obviously, in order to realize certain things. And likely, you might have had the same thoughts before you came into this earth. So, before becoming part of a body before even being birthed, even before being a human, part of human being, before I entered a physical body, I had these thoughts. Oh shit, here we go again. I am not digging it. And I knew, and I felt it, that I wasn't going to like it. But, so, yes, being a human being is not a comfortable thing. Not always a comfortable thing. I don't want to say that it's not comfortable all the time, because that's not the case. We have our ups and downs, but right now, for example, you're probably experiencing some discomfort. I mean, the whole world is, okay, and has been for a while. So although this is an incredible journey we're all on, it is a journey nonetheless, which often means we don't consciously know where we're going or what this is all leading to. But remember, your higher consciousness knows. The part of you that decided to enter this physical body knows exactly why it's here, what it wants to get out of this experience, and it knows that this experience will enrich its own essence. Because of the human experience, your soul will be even richer. And your soul is already damn rich. Okay? So be very gentle with yourself right now, because you will likely feel, some shadows come up. So thank you, they're reminding me, thank you. So with my example, I am having another layer of fear coming up that has to do with not having value, that I don't have value in myself, that I am not a valuable person, that I'm not a valuable being. So lack consciousness, obviously, right? And it is creating quite a bit of a havoc on my emotional and certainly on my mental body. It's like my mental body is amok. It's very incoherent right now. It's all over the place. And even trying to meditate, the whole idea of meditation makes me not anxious, but irritable. So there's obviously something going on, okay? And what's going on is a part of some inner truth is coming up right now for me. That's what's being revealed. Do I like it? No. Well, pardon me. Do I like that it's coming up? Yes. Do I enjoy the process and how it feels? Absolutely not. I'm just being honest. Okay? But I also understand that in order for me to experience more of my potential, in order for you to experience more of your potential, more of your greatness, some of these lower vibratory truths have to be revealed so that they can come out of you. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you later. Okay. And there's various ways of processing that. Sometimes doing nothing and just allowing this energy to go through you, which is what I am doing. I'm doing my best. And because there is a certain level of discomfort with it, naturally it creates a certain level of resistance, and resistance is creating havoc on my mental and my emotional body. And it makes me feel spent. I feel spent. I feel absolutely spent. I just heard, then stop fighting. Ain't that the truth? So don't fight the process. Whatever you're going through right now, don't fight the process. Don't minimize the process. Don't grandize the process. Don't over amplify the process. Just do your best and go through whatever it is you are going through feeling wise. And if it means throwing yourself a pity party, which is what I have been doing, full on disclosure, I was having a pity party for myself. And I was enjoying it. As weird as it sounds. All the things that I was feeling. I'm not good enough. I don't know what I'm doing. What the hell am I here for? Like all these things that I thought I've dealt with already, vroom, in my face. It's like, okay, the work is never done. Truly, the work is never done. But I also know on a deeper level that this work is essential for me to embody all that I can be. There's no other way. There's no other way for you to embody all that you can be unless you deal with whatever is being revealed. Why? Because chances are whatever is being revealed right now, your smallness, let's say, that is no way helping you to be all that you can be. There's no way. It limits you. In fact, it confines you to staying small. And small you are not. When I say that, there's a certain level of sadness that just runs through me. What's the sadness about? It's the realization that we are so much more, yet we continue to validate our smallness. That we are so much more, yet we continue to validate our smallness. And when I see that, it makes me sad. It makes me sad that we cannot see us for who we really are. I don't feel bad about it. Well, I guess I do. But feeling bad is not the word I want to use, because feeling bad means, I feel bad for what we are experiencing. Because I know that there's a reason. There's a reason behind everything that we are experiencing. It's part of our growth. It's part of our challenge. It's part of our challenge to overcome. But it fundamentally makes me feel sad. And I believe that ultimately we're going to turn that sadness into something much more profound when we shift our focus and our perception of being small to realizing that we are actually the opposite. We live in a world of duality. We also live in a world of contrast. We live in a world of paradox, which is you are immense, yet you feel small at the same time. That's a paradox. Okay? You are powerful beyond human understanding, yet you feel powerless or disempowered. That's a paradox. That's a massive paradox. Now, if you wanted to be all powerful, you wouldn't be a human being. There would be no need for you to do that. You already are powerful. So the fact that you are in this human body, there's a reason for that. You have your own individual reason. Your soul has its own individual reason for doing that. The idea here is to move away from living in contrasts or in polarities and instead embody both. Embody both. Embody both the smallness and embody both the bigness. What does it mean when we embody both? It means that we can choose, that we can consciously choose which we want to express. Choose. So when we embody our smallness and our bigness, we can then choose to express our smallness, it's a choice, or to express our bigness, it's a choice. Right now, it doesn't feel like a choice a lot of the time, does it? No. Because we're not integrated, because we live in polarity. And planet Earth is moving from polarity to unity. And that's what the quote unquote 5D vibration is. It's one of more unity. Unity. Okay? That's where peace is. Peace is not here. Peace is here. I'm going to read something to you that literally was just sitting right in front of my eyes. It's like, what, did I write this? It came through in March of 2022. It's about peace. Although life is short, no being outside of you can experience peace inside of your being. You are fully in control of the level of peace you experience. The more you can trust yourself and your journey, despite the naysayers, the greater level of peace you will embody. So there are a few things that stood out to me. First and foremost, the whole idea of trust. If you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust your intuition, you're not going to be able to experience greater things, because you will not allow yourself to meet certain challenges. You will not allow yourself to take greater risks. You will not allow yourself to take a leap of faith, not knowing the outcome. That's what leap of faith is. You will likely not do that if you don't trust yourself, if you don't trust your intuition. And if you can't trust yourself, if you can't trust your intuition, then there's a certain level of peace that's missing. Because then if you don't trust yourself, who or what do you trust? If you don't trust yourself, who do you trust? Do you trust your neighbor? Well, how do you know that what they say and what they do is right for you? How would you know that? So I said, okay, guys, what the heck is going on right now? What's going on collectively? This is what I received. We are all learning how to receive. Therefore, all the walls and limitations are likely to come to the forefront right now. So let's look at the idea of receiving. Many of us want to experience greater love, greater self-satisfaction, greater contentment, greater peace. But it all has to do with allowing. Because the universe has plenty of that and then some. So if the universe has plenty of whatever it is that we want more of, if it's readily available, if you will, then why are we not embodying it? Why is it not part of our experience? Well, perhaps because we don't trust that that is true. Belief system. Or we simply don't know how to receive. Or we limit ourselves in terms of how we receive, what we receive, when we receive, the very idea of receiving. I remember some years ago, I might have shared this on a video a long time ago, My guide at the time, I was in a meditation, and my guide at the time, I was conversing with him, and at one point he said to me, "Now open your heart to receive." And I froze. For the first time in my life, I had a conscious awareness that my heart was completely closed. And it hit me so hard, so hard. I went down on my knees and I cried like a child. I was in my 40s. Snot and everything. It was so painful for me to have that conscious realization that not only my heart was closed, I didn't know how to open it. I felt helpless, absolutely helpless. I didn't know how. I can't even describe the level of emotional pain I felt at the time. It was quite unusual, but that awareness that my heart was closed and I didn't know how to open it, the feeling of complete helplessness of not knowing how to open up my heart shattered me inside out. It was a very painful experience. Up until that time, I had no idea. Not only that, and my guide was just standing there allowing me to go through the process because I obviously needed to see it. Because obviously if I'm closed, I'm having issues with receiving, okay? And I remember what came right after that awareness was that the reason why my heart was closed and I was helpless in terms of how to open it, the reason for that is that I fundamentally believed that I was not worthy of receiving love. That I was not worthy of receiving love. And it wasn't just an idea in my head. I felt it with every ounce of my being. It ripped through my body. It was an embodied awareness, and it hurt like motherfucker, excuse my French. I will never forget that because it was one of those moments when the universe communicated to me something so profound that I needed to understand. And because we all have things like that, but because it's so unconscious, we may have an idea, yeah, we think this or that, but when it hits you on an embodied level, it literally shatters your soul, or shatters you to your soul, to the depth of your soul. And I have no recollection what happened after that. All I know is that I was shook up. Don't know how long it took me to get myself back again. But that was the very first time when I truly realized that my heart was closed. And I was helpless in terms of how to open it. I'm sure some of you have experienced the feeling of complete helplessness. It is an experience and a half when you feel helpless. Like when you feel helpless when somebody's suffering and you feel absolutely helpless. It's pain. It's a whole nother level of pain that cannot be described. Back to receiving. We are all learning how to receive. And in order for us to receive better, to receive more, to allow more in, certain things have to be revealed. Certain oppositional structures, if you will, have to show themselves to say, oh, by the way, me, my belief, or this, I am this belief, I believe such and such, I am the reason why you are closed off and why you are not receiving. I'm this, okay? And we have many of those. We have many, 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 many layers of those. But that's what we are essentially going through. And certainly the energies of this retrograde, which I believe they're continuing until the 18th of January, are definitely having that effect on me in terms of almost like somebody knocking at the door and say, hey, I'm here. It's time for you to look at me. What I wrote is that we are in the process of going back to basics. In order to truly realize our potential, we have to go back down to the basics in terms of, you know how every house has either a basement or a foundation? We have to go back to our foundation. What do we believe in? What do we believe in? And look for proof of what we believe. When my head is all over the place, when I feel discombobulated, like I have been for the last little while, and I question, sometimes I question my sanity, I question my ability to connect, I question, am I making this up? I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. You'd think that after 20 years, I would let that go. No. It's so deeply ingrained. And it has to do with some fundamental truth that is still within me, that I am not worthy of receiving. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know that. I know that. And that's what's so painful. So when I said, look for proof of what you believe, I'm always, not always, but I remind myself of the time, it was about 1999 or 2020, when a being appeared in my room, full on 3D, objectively seeing, not in my mind, objectively seeing a being in my room. I can tell you exactly what he looked like, and it felt like a he, although I didn't see his face. I can tell you that he was holding a white book. He was dressed like a monk. I can even recall the rope he had tied around his waist, and all that was happening is he stood there, I was looking at him, and everything in my life suspended, froze. Although froze feels a little bit negative, suspended. Everything was just suspended. And the level of peace and love that I experienced, I always say, if this is what I felt every day, I would not be a functional human being. I couldn't function feeling that bliss. I was in absolute bliss. And I don't know how long it lasted. My eyes were fully open. I wasn't making this up. I tried to share it with my mom. She's like, oh, you probably were dreaming. It's like, no, no. So when I'm questioning, when I'm having these inner conflicts in my head, all the stories, I can't, I won't, I'm not a blah, 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 I go back to this experience because that was as real as my own body. It was as real as anything. In fact, it probably felt more real. I was not on drugs. I was not on medication. I was not on alcohol. I was not fully sober, fully awake. And I experienced what the only thing I could call is bliss. And all I remember as I was suspended in this bliss, it's very hard to describe because there's no reference point to anything in my physical life, in my experience that I can give you as a reference. It was a non-human type of feeling. All I remember is I could feel my tears coming down my cheeks. There were probably tears of joy, tears of sadness, maybe just my body was releasing in that moment. I don't know, but it was so profound that I swear it physically changed the structure of my cells. It was so profound. So that's what I go back to. They're reminding me to go back to that. Joanna, you're questioning, fine, you're going through this. It's another layer that's coming up. Go back to that experience. That hold on to that. So whatever you experience you have, whatever proof you have of what you believe, and that can go both ways. If you believe the world is a bad place, you are probably experiencing this world as a bad place, right? If you believe in miracles, look for proof of miracles. Miracles happen every day. We tend to dismiss that idea of miracles as something lofty in our minds. Oh, miracle, oh, miracle. In fact, you and I are a bloody miracle. That's what miracle is. And I remember a being told me that once. She said to me, you are the miracle. You are the miracle. You're looking for miracles. You are the miracle, Joanna. You're it. You are the miracle. Do you realize that? Notice how your mind responds or reacts to when I say, you are the miracle. You are that. Now the question is, will you accept it? Will you accept it as your truth, or will you deny it? And that's the choice. The choice is yours. Your mind, your logical mind will say, well, that's all made up. Everything is made up. Do you realize that everything is made up? Your truth is your truth because of what you believe. It's made up. You, as an earthling, that's not even you. It's an illusion. It's a part of your soul experience life as a human being, but that is not you. That's like saying your finger is you. Your finger isn't you. Your finger is a part of you. It serves a purpose. It's beautiful. It has its function, but it's not you. There's so much more to you than your finger. The question then becomes, will you allow yourself to see more of who you already are? Or will you allow, or will you let your limited beliefs dictate to you in terms of who you are? Because always remember, you are not your beliefs. You're either in charge of your beliefs or your beliefs are in charge of you. You are a concept. You are an idea. You are a concept. You are an idea. That's the higher version truth, if you will. Okay? So, we are all magnificently shifting and changing. It's not all comfortable. Change usually is not. But through the process of this powerful change, we are being revealed. So the question to you is, what will you reveal about yourself today? What wants to be revealed? And I'm going to leave that with you. No cards today. I just trusted the flow. If you want additional extended information, there is going to be another video in a couple of days that I will have some cards. If you have subscribed to my newsletters, or if you got yourself the transformational tools or even the zodiac signs, as long as you've pressed that you will receive, that you are willing to receive free information, You are on my email list, so you'll receive an email when that video comes out. It's not for YouTube. It's nowhere else other than a certain place. But if you would like to receive additional videos that you won't be able to find on YouTube, then subscribe to my email list, get yourself free goodies, or purchase a zodiac sign reading if that's what you wish, of course. If you have purchased your signs, or if you are going to, or if you would like to, remember there's an 88% off for the next little while, few days. And use these videos every day, just like I did. I decided to listen to mine this morning, and literally within 30 seconds, it's like, oh my God, this is exactly what's happening right now. The universe wastes no chance. No, the universe wastes no time. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.